Welcome to BUNIYAAD podcast by Dr. Monica Nagpal. We did not inherit this world like this. Then how can we give this to our next generation in this form? We need to reflect mindfully on our core values and make conscious efforts towards protecting the planet and also achieve all sustainable development goals. With BUNIYAAD, I, Monica Nagpal, will bring to fore sustainability champions who are striving to bring back harmony with the nature and also dignity of each life. नमस्कार दोस्तों, आज हम बुनियाद के एपिसोड 5 में हैं and today we are having very wonderful person with us. She is Ekta Viiveck and she is a founder of Invisible Scars and she is also working in the space of gender-based violence. And a lot of things she will unfold before us. So BUNIYAAD is about living life in a sustainable way. How we are able to lay the foundation for living a sustainable life. So I welcome today Ekta. Hi Ekta.
Thank you so much Dr. Monica. It's wonderful and glad to be doing this with you. It's so important that we keep these conversations going on and on.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking out time and being here with us.
Right.
Ekta, I would now request you to please introduce yourself.
Okay, so like you've already told everyone, my name is Ekta and I'm the founder of an organization called Invisible Scars Foundation. We have just registered ourselves this year in 2023 as an NGO. Prior to that, we were working for almost 7 years as an initiative.
Okay.
The idea behind Invisible Scars Foundation was to create a safe space, and that's how my journey into this sector began. Otherwise, I have almost 30 years of work experience, which includes almost 12 years of me being an entrepreneur and then various stints at different kinds of jobs. I quit working in the year 2011 and then I by surprise ventured into the social sector. So that's a little bit about my profile.
Wonderful, so wonderful. And today, because we are talking about sustainability, so I will ask you, how did your journey in sustainability start? And what are the sustainable things that you are able to tell us? Which sustainable development goals are you working on?
Right. So let me first start with where my journey started. So when I started my journey, I did not know of these words as sustainable. I didn't know anything about the social sector. The idea was simply focused on creating a safe space for initially women only to sort of be connected to each other, be able to vent out their problems. And so on Facebook we started a community. I called it Invisible Scars, and as the name reads, it talks about the trauma, it talks about betrayal, it talks about hurt, it talks about everything which is not visible to the eye, as well as of course visible abuse issues. This safe space, for a year we didn't have too much traction, then slowly we started growing, and today where you see us has been a momentous journey from there to here. So it was never a conscious effort actually to have this as a career. So I started to understand sustainability when I started to educate myself and look above and beyond creating a safe space, because when people started reaching out to me, that is when I realized I have a responsibility. And when you have a responsibility and you're trying to help people, at that point of time you have to be absolutely sure that you're helping them in the right way, B, in the manner in which they need it, and C, you have to give them something that is sustainable for their lives.
Correct.
So very early on I figured out that if you teach a person to fish, it's always better than they can keep fending for themselves. And I think that's the very basic sort of ethos on which Invisible Scars Foundation has been built, is that we try and empower every survivor to be able to fight their battles on their own.
Wow.
We are there, we are a support system, but it is only sustainable for their lives if they are fighting those battles on their own and they are on top of what they are going through. Yes, it is traumatic. Yes, we will give you the tools. Yes, we will help you along the journey. But when you fight your battle, it not only makes you stronger, it also makes you in charge of your, let's say, destiny per se. So I think that's how we work on sustainability. Our idea is to get sustainability in a survivor's life. So a survivor's fight is for nothing but dignity and respect. And when you fight for dignity and respect, it has to sustain. You should not get into relationships again and again which keep pulling you in the same direction. So awareness is a very big part of it. Of course, we do a lot of rehabilitation work in terms of skilling and things like that. So we do a needs assessment. We ask our survivors, what do you need? And that's where we begin the journey from. So that's the first step.
Very good.
And yes, we work on the most critical goal is the fifth goal, but of course peace and justice, strong institutions, all of these things, but the fifth goal, which is the goal of gender equality, is one of the major ones. Yes. But of course through our work, we do tackle a whole lot of other things, small
because
things.
everything is integrated. So it is not about just gender equality is one goal which is standalone. We know that it is integrated with all the other goals. And if a woman is empowered, we know that all other goals will also be achieved. When one goal is achieved, this goal primarily when can be achieved, all the other goals will also be automatically achieved.
Right. And to add to that, none of this exists in a vacuum, right? So you cannot say that any form of gender-based violence exists in a vacuum. It all exists in an ecosystem. So when you work on one goal, you automatically start to add value to the other goals. But yes, our primary
absolutely, because if there is if you cater to the poverty, for example, then probably if something which is happening in that household, the abuse or the trauma which that female is happening there is because of the poverty, then it is automatically taken care of there like that. So this is how we also understand that whatever the goals of SDGs are, they are all integrated and we cannot just isolate them and do. So this is a wonderful
add to what you are saying, one of the things that also makes our work sustainable is at some point we realize that yes, there is a set of men also facing the same thing. We realize that children who are living in toxic homes or violent homes, there is no attention being paid. You look at the woman, you say, oh, she is the survivor, and yes, she is getting the help she needs because she is in a difficult situation, but you ignore the children that are impacted, and then you ignore an entire generation. You ignore men who face abuse. So it is a reality. Yes, I mean the numbers are not very high, but it is a reality that is happening. And elderly people who find it difficult to speak up for themselves. So I think sustainability also comes with recognizing that it is not just one section of society. There is a whole lot of other things that are happening, and opening your eyes and willingness to have the dialogue, I think, makes it
absolutely. So very important thing which has come out from her, whatever you have said, is that we have to be very open to the dialogue, and we cannot neglect any other section also. The most vulnerable, which are physically challenged, or as we were just before when we started the conversation, she was talking about one of the females who is an HIV positive female and she is looking for a shelter home for her. So all such cases is what Invisible Scars is looking at. So they are doing amazing work and we really need to support such institutions. Thank you so much, Ekta, for whatever you are doing. So now that we already know that you're working on this spaces, then how do you think is this impacting the society now?
Okay, so gender-based violence is a reality which we cannot dispute, and a lot of it comes, and so this is global. So this is not something that only impacts a particular country. It is very global in nature. But I think the core, one of the core reasons is the fact that a lot of the world is very patriarchal in nature, which means that men hold the power and women are not given power, and hence a lot of these problems. So gender based violence is not just domestic violence and abuse. It's a whole lot of other things. And we work on something which we call rape culture. So rape culture, of course, we do a lot of awareness on rape culture, is the stepping stone to creating a society which is more equitable. So when we talk about rape culture, we talk about things that enable that society where women are not safe, where children are not safe, right? So, yes, there is a lot that there is yet to achieve, but in our little manner, I think this is sort of what is
impacting how you are impacting. So then now that one thing which has come out again here, which I would like to have a little more clarity upon, when we talk about being equal, like giving gender equal status or equal whatever we are talking about, but then there is another word which has come about, which is equity. So how does equity and being equal differ?
Okay, so it's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking it. Not many people have asked me this question. So for example, let us take my example. Let's say I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I come from a fairly educated family. I have reasonable amount of resources. I have a decent educational backing. So the kind of the kind of empowerment that I can have, being someone from a fairly better background, would be very different from, say, if we pick up someone from a lower socio-economic class, right? Now, to be able to provide help to both of these people, and we have someone who is slightly in the upper echelons of the say socio-economic structure, and someone who's lower, then you have to give them level playing field, right? Now this is about two women. Imagine that there is I will not use the word women and men because that makes it very controversial. Let's say we have an abuser is holding more power, let's say due to the social structure of the society, and then you have a survivor. So actually you have to give them a level playing field before you start anything. So we talk about gender equality. It has to be equity. You have to, if you have 23 million or some odd girls dropping out every year from educational institutes simply due to the lack of sanitation facilities, or the fear of them becoming adolescents and parents not sending due to safety issues, then the level playing field is not equal, because the boys are continuing to study, the girls are still not continuing. So you have to give all of them a level playing field, and that is probably what equity is. So in my opinion, equity always comes before equality. Whether we are doing support work, whether you are doing awareness work, whether you are doing empowerment work, whatever kind of work you are doing, you have to give everyone a level playing field before you start working. And I think with our work, that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to give everyone a level playing field, which means that irrespective of which socio-economic class you come from and you come to us, we will try and provide you the same kind of help. So I will make the exact same effort I will make for someone. I might, for say someone who's from a lower socio-economic class, I might try a translator, or I might have to devote some more extra resources, but I will do that to ensure that they get the same kind of help, and I'm not looking down upon them while helping them to say, oh.
So in name of equality, sometimes they will say that you have the same education and this person also has the same education, and then we are giving the same kind of benefits to both of you. But this is a lady who is probably traveling 20-25 kilometers to come to the office, and probably she is little late, and so that is equity. This is the person who is coming a kilometer away from very simple terms. So how can both be on a equal term? No, that is where. So equity means that you are taking in consideration all the factors around that. It is not just one, which is education or something like that, but you are taking into account everything. So as in her context, the survivor, or if it is from a lower background or from a higher background, so they have to be coming on the level field, as she just mentioned.
There's a beautiful example on the internet of equity. There is a picture of 3 children of different heights trying to look across a wall to see a match that's being played, and each of them is given a ladder of the same height to watch. and so their height difference still stays, because one is short, one is of medium height, one is taller. So the taller one is literally jumping over the fence in that sense. And so there's another picture of equity. That's how equality is. And then there's another picture of equity where as per their height they are given different ladders to stand upon, and then they stand. So when they stand, they're all standing at an equal level. So I think that's a beautiful picture. If anyone has it, if you have it and you can share it, it would be wonderful.
Actually, so even I have seen that picture to really understand to what is actually equity means. Yeah, very well said. So now that you have already impacted and you also understand what is equity, and our audience also would have by now understood what is that. So what as ordinary, because sometimes what happens, Ekta, that okay, there is an organization who is working on all of these fields, but as an ordinary person, probably sitting at home or working in the office with all that mundane things going on in their lives, they have so much to do, they are not even bothered about what is happening to the other person around them. No? So how as a person we can really contribute in all of these on a practical way?
Right. So I always say that change begins with me. That has been my mantra for a very long time. Right. If you can't make big changes to society, it's fine. Not everybody expects everyone to make big changes. You can start by changing yourself. So when I say change yourself, it is very, very critical, and this message especially for women, because men do tend to do these things, is don't let your life become so mundane that you don't know what's going on in the world. Actually. Right? Read the news every day, watch interesting. So for example, you don't know about a subject, YouTube is a treasure trove of information.
Yes.
Go to YouTube, search for it. You can do various courses. So I am going to turn 49 this year. I think almost every week I start some course on Coursera, and none of this costs any money. Right? So you can do it on your phone. So almost everybody has access to a phone. So I think the trick behind this is to keep yourself up to date on everything that is happening in the world. Don't let yourself just drift away. That is the first thing. The second thing is, when you are aware, with awareness you will be able to see issues that are plaguing the society. Now if you're not aware about anything, you can live a mundane existence and then just move on in life.
Right? You can be eyes closed and you are just bothered about what is happening in your own life. That's it.
Correct. I think I pretty much led an existence like that, and that's why maybe I'm the right person to say this. Is I was also very oblivious of what was happening around me. I would notice things and they would bother me, but then the next day I would wake up, it's all gone from my memory. But when I started to notice, that when you speak up, when you state your truth, a lot of people start getting attached to you, and that's how I am where I am today. Right? I realized that it's no longer okay. I think COVID was an eye-opener for everybody. It's no longer okay to be mundane. It's no longer okay to just live your life without having paying attention to what's happening around you. It's very critical for everyone to be a global citizen. It is very critical for women especially to build knowledge and not become, if you're not working, that's fine, right? You can say, oh, I'm working, I chose to work, I don't choose to work. Those are not important things. How do you choose to be in your current scenario? I think that's very, very critical.
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember because we are talking about gender equality in a very lay sense also, that how a lay woman can really help. So starting from your own children, when you are treating your own children, a boy and a girl at home, how you are as a teacher, how you are treating them in the school. You are telling the child or a girl child to do a certain kind of work, and you are telling a boy child to do a certain kind of work. So are you creating a disequality there itself? You are sowing the seed of disequality from the foundation level itself. Buying a pink and a blue suit for your children, that itself starts to discriminate between the two genders.
So I think the best thing I would say about this is, stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. You have to stop believing in stereotypes. My best tested method, and that's all I can tell you, is that if you come to me with something and you say, hey Ekta, this is what it is, I will do my research before I believe what you're saying. Right? So you may come and tell me that pink is the best color for girls, and unfortunately, pink is one of my most non-favorite colors. I don't like pink at all. So it's a stereotype, right? So I think everyone should steer clear of stereotypes, and if you don't understand the word stereotype, please go on to YouTube. I mean,
Correct.
there is so much information out there.
Absolutely. So first important thing is to be very mindful. I also have lot of workshops on mindfulness. So I really profess that we have to be very mindful of what is happening around me. You are traveling in a bus or in an auto, or even if you're in a car and you are seeing something happening around you and you just pass by. Why? Because that is not concerning you. So I met a gentleman, he's a retired officer, and he was telling about, he became a trainer to teach the children, girls especially, how to self-defense. Because his daughter had kind of an attack by the people. And he became a trainer. So why all of this happens? Because it was his own child.
Correct.
Until why are you leaving the whole scenario till it comes to our place?
Yes.
No?
Why let it walk to your doorstep?
Yeah. Why it has to come to my door and then I will wake up and then I will do something. Corona actually has taught us that
COVID has taught us that
anywhere in the world something happens, it is going to affect us any which ways.
Yes.
So we have to open our eyes very mindfully. I remember as a school girl and as a college girl, when I used to travel in the bus, I was very like, you cannot say feminist, but yeah, because you need to be little strong, you're traveling in a bus and all. So when men were sitting on there and they are not offering you, it is okay. We don't want that equality ki aap baithe, and then they'll sit just close with you, and they will try to even torture you like that.
Delhi buses are, yes, of course,
Actually.
very dangerous. I have done the I don't remember what it was called. I think it was 29 or something, where it would go around the city. It was terrible.
But not offering a seat to a pregnant woman or an old lady was which I really voiced my voice against. Correct. That these people, you are sitting there and you're not even able seeing that there is a pregnant woman standing there or an old woman standing there who you can offer. So if you are able to voice it out a little, it is good. Not every voice you will have to go to a police station. So don't be scared that for your voicing you have to go to a police station. You can, as an individual, voice it out few things in your own home, in your own places of work, and that is how we can really contribute as a lay person also in this kind of a sustainable living that we want.
See, I think it begins by changing yourself. Once you change yourself, things will be obvious to you around you. Like you said, mindfulness is very critical. You can't live your life, sleeping through life and thinking this will not arrive at my doorstep, because you don't know when and how it will arrive at your doorstep. And it doesn't have to be, lack of empathy, apathy doesn't have to be your primary nature. It has to be empathy. Has to be. We have to build an empathetic society, because we are leaving this world to our generation ahead of us.
Right. So very important to become a little more compassionate about whatever is happening around you. Look with the eyes of mindfulness, and that is how we can really work towards sustainable living. And when she is talking about sustainable living for the women who are survivors, it is more of how we can have a kind of a sustainable behavior for them to have sustainable happiness.
Yes, that's
so that is very important, that the sustainable behavior of us. So okay, it is not that today I am very happy and today I can help somebody and tomorrow it is all going for a toss. So it has to be sustainable behavior for all the times, in all the circumstances. No?
For women especially, I would emphasize that economic independence, financial independence is mandatory. If you are not financially independent, there are more chances of you getting into bad situations.
Yes.
If you are financially, and financial independence doesn't always mean a job.
Yeah.
If you are good at business, do business. If you are good at reselling, do reselling. Whatever it is you are good at, it doesn't mean that you have to have a salary, but you have to have your own money stocked away. Even if you are a homemaker, right, get your husband to give you, if he is the one taking care of the household, get him to give you a certain amount of pocket money every month. Save on that, save that, invest a little, use a little bit of it for yourself. So but whatever it is, you should have your own money.
Yes.
Whichever way you decide is best for you.
Absolutely. This is very important, that financial, I even also not say financial, it is like economic independence is very important, because depending on finances, okay, but economically we have to be very secure sometimes, even if we are not earning, but our economy has to be very safe in our hand. Like we have to be the finance minister of our own house.
Yes.
That's very, very important.
Women are supposed to have a very good relationship with money, and they manage home budgets very, very
Correct.
well. So if you have the superpower to manage your home budget and still, save a little at the end of the month, why don't you do it for yourself?
Yes.
And I tell women all the time, please start investing. Even if it's 500 rupees a month, start investing. Get into the habit of investing, because your money should not lie around idle.
Actually.
So whether you're working, you're not working, we don't get into those semantics at all.
Absolutely. This is again very important point which has come again, because in one of my previous talks, when I was talking about financial wise for women, we spoke about how the difference between saving and investing. So you save but you don't invest. So now that she is also professing to really invest. So Ria, let us invest in our own self, invest the money in the right place, and that is how we are able to come up to some level. Yeah, thank you so much, Ekta. And now the last message I would like you to share with our audience. What is one message on your invisible scars, or whatever you want to just share one message to the...
Correct. So I think what I had to say, I've already answered in the previous questions. So what I'm simply going to say is that if anyone is in need, don't look aside. See, domestic violence and abuse are human rights violations. It is very critical that you don't look aside. Don't think ये किसी के घर का मामला है, why should I get involved? No, it is a human rights violation. It is a crime. There is a law against it. So like Dr. Monica said, it doesn't mean that you have to run to the police station, but if you see someone who's in distress, who's in trouble, connect them to someone who can help, right? You can make the connect, you can listen to them. We also say listen without conditions. So listen to them, don't offer any advice to them. Your advice may not be relevant to their situation at all, or your reality may be different and theirs may be different, so it might actually harm them. But the thing is, do help people when you see them in distress. Don't ignore anyone. Don't just walk away saying ये किसी के घर का मामला है. Domestic violence and abuse किसी के घर का मामला नहीं है, crime है, human rights violation है, और इस चीज़ को ध्यान रखिए.
Yes, very, very well said, Ekta. We have to, as a citizen, global citizen in any country, what is happening, wherever you are traveling, you see something happening at home, when you are going to your office, it is everybody's, ये सबका मामला है.
ये सबका मामला है. Yes.
Thank you so much, Ekta. It was really wonderful. Today we have spoken at length about gender equality and many aspects of it, and we will have many more episodes on many other SDGs also. And if you are hearing this and you have somebody in your vicinity who is also working on this field, and if you yourself are, please reach out to me, and then we can connect, and you can be the next guest on my BUNIYAAD show. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.